game that the stakes are that
feel
big?
like we're playing Kansas City.
Does it seem like a higher stakes game than normal?
Feels like we're playing Kansas City.
Do you know who the Patriots are playing this week?
Kansas City.
So Bill Belichick knew that too. Okay, so talk about what the Chiefs have ahead of them heading into Foxborough on Sunday. How tough is this going to be for a young quarterback like Pat Mahomes?
Well, the Chiefs like to score early, and you have to think that Bill Belichick is going to try to limit some of that by what he does with his defense, particularly the looks that Pat Mahomes sees in the red zone. But if you're Andy Reid, I think you've got to put your quarterback in situations where they can create explosive plays on offense. You're going to need some plays of 40-plus yards to be able to hit for touchdowns. You don't want to have to consistently be in red zone situations going up against a Bill Belichick coach defense just because you know he's going to have some wrinkles that your young quarterback hasn't seen. So you've seen Tyreek Hill have the explosive plays in the passing game. 9 of his 27 catches have gone for 20-plus yards. So you're going to start to see some of that. I think it needs to be a basketball on grass type of approach with this Chiefs offense. They major in 11 personnel, which is 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. But I think you need to see some spread looks from that offense, some 2-by-2 when it's two open sides of the formation, and have Travis Kelce split out like a receiver. I think you put the secondary of the New England Patriots in some tough matchups. Just because you have an advantage from an athleticism standpoint, that would lend itself to getting explosive plays if you get those one-on-ones in the passing game.
Jenna, you're going to recognize in this game that if Kansas City can make New England play on their terms, they want to play. I used to be a fan of John Thompson, Georgetown Hoyas. The reason why they press you, Nolan Richardson. Man, 40 minutes of hell
at Arkansas.
Yeah, the gym is hot. They press you, man-to-man, full court press, and they run up and down. That's what Kansas City they have to play that type of football game that Canty, 31 personnel, 3 wide receivers, speed sweeps. They got to bring college football right to Foxborough. And if we watch that game on Sunday night and we think, hey, man, are we watching a college football game? Then Andy Reid has the game on his terms. If they get into a phone booth and they want to play like Alabama football, you are going to say that, yeah, it's college football, but it's not the style that Kansas City and Andy Reid want to play. So style of play, like we say with fights, it makes fights. This is a big game, though. Regardless of what Bill Belichick right there, the more subdued he is, the bigger the game is. This is almost like the Super Bowl then. If he's like, it's Kansas City, that means it's bigger. If he was excited, then I would be like, this is not a big game.
When you say, the style of play, what does Mangini say? The Pats don't like to dance, they like to punch.
Yes.
And the Chiefs got a bunch of dancers, not a whole bunch of boxers. And remember last year, they played this game. I'm not focusing on it because the Chiefs won there. But the Pats, throughout the course of the year, started stealing from things the Chiefs did. You had that great breakdown. Do you remember it?
Absolutely.
The Chiefs ran a play.
Speed sweep and ran up the
Tyreek
seam.
Hill up the seam. And then we saw the Pats start using that by week 3 of the season. So I also don't think we're going to see the Pats this is an important game. They obviously want to win this game. But they are going to also be learning during the game, seeing because the Chiefs are going to give it their best punch because they know we win this game, we are on our way to the #1 seed. Like, I understand that maybe the question, Belichick's not going to answer it, but they win this game. They're 6-0. The Pats are 3-3, and you have the head-to-head tiebreaker. They already have the head-to-head tiebreaker with Jacksonville. They have a head-to-head tiebreaker right now with the Chargers, and they play Cincinnati the following week. They could basically lock up the AFC in the next 10 days as far as the 1 seed. The Pats are going to be trying to see, okay, what are the Chiefs trying to do? If we have to face them again in the postseason, what is their go-to? The question I'm curious with you guys is this. We know the Patriots are famous for trying to take away what you do best, take away your favorite thing. What do you think they'll go into this game trying to take away from Kansas City? Because I don't know what the Chiefs' #1 option is.
Oh, that's simple for me. I think it's take away the throws in the middle of the field. You make Pat Mahomes throw the ball to the edges of the field. You got to take away Tyreek Hill over the middle. You got to take away Travis Kelce. You make the degree of difficulty on a young quarterback a little bit greater by forcing him to throw the ball outside of the numbers. I think that's the best way that you give your defense a chance. And, oh, by the way, you give your defense time to react to those throws out of the numbers, just knowing that you don't have the most athletic guys on the back end of that group. So I'm looking at that and saying that's what you have to do. Try to pack that defense in, force them to throw the ball to the edges.
Yeah, when you have as many explosive players as Kansas City has, you start defensing concepts compared to people. So you start taking away regions of the field. I'm going to try to negate the middle of the field. I'm also going to try to negate their speed on the speed sweeps, where my ends, instead of playing a 7 technique, we talk about that wide 9 technique. So watch for New England on the outside for them to play a little wider so they can get steeper into the backfield to negate that. So
would that also keep Mahomes in the pocket more? Because that's what I thought you guys were going to say, is that their whole game plan is going to be make sure Pat Mahomes has to play inside
I think these things are bigger. And then along the way, you have to try to make it. You can't take away everything. The reason Belichick, he loves his team to take the field with a lot of confidence. So you can't give them too many things. You know something? You got to take away the deep pass. You got to take away the trick plays. You got to take away Hunt. You got to take away. Right. Like, you don't want the team to panic. You take away some of the concepts, and we have more success if we make Patty Mahomes. So that contain on the sweeps also keeps Patty Mahomes in the pocket. But this is a task for New England. Now, they had a couple extra days. This is the kind of week you need, that extra week. You need to be AFC Championship game where you're getting ready. You've won that and going to the Super Bowl, getting ready for Kansas City. So I believe New England will struggle with their concepts.
On any given Sunday, the Patriots have 2 advantages over any of their opponents: their quarterback and their head coach. We've talked about the way their quarterbacks are going to match up, these quarterback and Patrick Mahomes. But what about the head coaching? If there's any coach who can match football wits with Belichick, wouldn't it be Andy Reid?
Absolutely. He's one of the guys that you would like to have in the game. But, you know, I had a great coach tell me one time, Chris, hey, it ain't the X's and O's, man. It's the Willies and the Joes. All right? Now, Belichick can say whatever he wants. That's the team he picked. Andy Reid's got more talent. So in that tail of the tape, you know, yeah, Belichick, this is the kind of team he wants to coach. Andy Reid, this is the team he wants to coach. Andy Reid can rectify some of his late game antics, late game blunders, playoff blunders by this matchup. All right? We could be talking about a changing of the torch in the AFC. Patty Mahomes. Nick talked about it. Hey, this might be Brady passing that torch right off to Patty Mahomes if they can get a win. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but these are real things that New England's going to have to deal with, in a talent that Kansas City and the speed that they have presents one of the biggest problems.
Yeah, I mean, New England's got to slow this game down. That's what it comes down to, right, CC? And I think you'll see Bill Belichick pay more attention to what he's doing on the offensive side of the ball in terms of being able to dictate the pace of this game and how it's played. Because you mentioned Kansas City, they want to run up and down the field with their offense. So the best defense for that offense is to keep them on the sideline. Sony Michel, he's been running the ball. That's been effective of late. They need to stay with that part of the game plan. Also, Tom Brady, look for him to be aggressive early in this. Try to get up on this Kansas City Chiefs team so you force their offense to be one-dimensional, just because you know for the Patriots, the strength of that team has to be their offense.
Right now, the Chiefs are like a grade card of like a frustrating student. A bunch of A's and A pluses and a handful of F's. The Pats, I don't think, have many A's and A pluses except for maybe Gronk and Brady. They got a lot of B's, a couple C's. What will determine this game is, can the Pats exploit the Chiefs' F's? The Chiefs' F's are their ability to tackle, their ability to stay in front of dominant wide receivers. Like, are the Pats just going to be able to convert every third down, where the Chiefs shockingly have actually been the one spot they've been good defensively, third down defense? Are the Chiefs able to get stops? Because I do not think the Pats defense can stop the Kansas City offense. I think that the 27 points is the minimum the Chiefs are going to score. The question is, are the Chiefs able to hold the Pats under 35?
What's the over-under?
Over-under for this game? I haven't looked at it.
Something?
Oh, it's definitely in the 50s. I would guess 55.5. I'm going to check right now.
Get on it, Dusty. Chris, we'll see you a little bit later on the show.
Gambling.
Coming up, have the Giants hit rock bottom. That's next on First Things First. I'm reading slowly so you can figure it out.
59? Wow.